Good morning. Welcome to the Savvy Stylist Podcast. I am your host, Amy Walker. And as always, I am so excited to be here with you in this space, sharing my heart and hopefully information that is going to help you move forward and grow your business behind and beyond the chair. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending some time with me today. I hope that these episodes bring you value. These are all inspired by conversations that I'm having inside of salons real time. These are all topics and content and questions that I am being asked on a daily basis from salon owners, from stylists, from beauty industry professionals who are struggling in different areas of their business. And it feels like I am able to put to good use my 20 years of experience in this industry as a stylist, as a business owner, as an educator, as an entrepreneur, as a female, as a mom, all of these things. I'm so happy that I'm able to share this with you. So I hope from the bottom of my heart that this message lands for you. If it does today is a big one. This is a big topic. This is a big conversation. If this lands for you, I would love to hear from you. I would love your feedback. I would love to know what you took away, what you might have to add to this conversation. And if you felt so inclined to send this to a friend, share it to your social media, that would make my soul so happy. And just know that that is the information that you're looking for, that I am bringing value, that the mission is being accomplished. So with that, you guys, I want to get into a topic today that is it's a really big conversation. This is a really big conversation, not only for salon owners, although that's where this conversation started, but for anybody running a business. And I just want to tell you, if you haven't heard me say this before, if you have a business, whether you are a employee of a salon, whether you are a chair renter, whether you've opened your own doors, no matter how you are choosing to run your business as a stylist in the beauty industry, you are the owner of that business. You are the CEO. You are the one in charge. Okay. And so take from this whatever resonates for you in whatever capacity you are working. Take what is relevant. So let me just set the tone for you guys. I was in a salon yesterday and had the opportunity to sit down with the business owner. She is an incredible human. I wholeheartedly love spending time with her when we do get the opportunity to sit down and catch up and chat. More than just her sales consultant, one-on-one, woman to woman, businesswoman to businesswoman. We have really incredible conversations. And yesterday I walked into kind of a shitstorm happening in her world, for lack of better words. That was what was going on. And so when her and I sat down, she really said to me, like, I just have to tell you, I love so much what you're doing with this podcast and the information that you're bringing. I think it's so incredible. And I would love for you to speak on this. So what was happening in her world was there was a toxic individual who had come into the work environment and wreaked absolute havoc in everybody's world, and then was dismissed, and it got ugly. And it is ugly. And this is a small town. And so there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress and a lot of overwhelm and a lot of what the hell do I do now in this conversation. And so she really wanted me to bring forward some content, some information. And her and I talked a little bit about this one-on-one, but for business owners, how to handle these kinds of situations. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what these situations can look like, but more than that, the topic that I am bringing forward to you today is really about switching perspectives from a how do I handle them? How do I handle that situation? And we're going to flip it to how do I handle me? How do I hold space for this? How do I show up for my team in a different manner than we've been doing in the past? And so, what can happen? Here's the thing, you guys, we are humans. You and me, you, the stylist, the boss babe, the human on the other side of this, listening to the podcast, you are a human. I am human. We, no matter what we do in our world, are not immune to shitty people. Okay. We are not immune to people coming into our world and disrupting our equilibrium. These things happen. And what is more important than them happening, what the situation is, what that might look like, and the fallout of it is how we hold ourselves through them. Okay. The conversation really is, how do we hold ourselves through these situations? How do we hold our team through these situations? And what comes next? So, this can look like a lot of different things. And what I want you to really start to think about is, how is it that you show up in your business for your team? Okay. I am in this moment speaking to the business owner. And if you're a chair renter or you have a salon that is all chair renters, um, you fall into this category. And if you are a stylist who is not yet an owner, I want you to lean in and listen to this even more so, because the relevance of learning these skills, these tactics, these techniques now is going to help you and put you leaps and bounds ahead when you decide to step out and become the CEO of your business. So, what I want us to really think about, and this is funny because it's been a conversation about our personal lives that I've been having a lot of. I just got back from the most incredible weekend in Montreal for the As She Rises conference. Um, I still don't totally have the words to really give you the essence of what that weekend was like, but I can tell you that sitting in a room with 200 powerful freaking women in all walks of life, in all different industries, working all different sorts of magic and being massively successful, a lot of our conversations were the same. A lot of the things that we were talking about were the same. And this conversation of, what are your non-negotiables in your personal life and in your professional life? This was a big one that I talked a lot about with many different women. And so I want to bring this conversation forward to the salon. I want to bring this conversation of, what are your non-negotiables inside your business in the beauty industry. And this can look like a lot of different things. Okay. So this goes a little bit further than policies and procedures. Okay. Although it's a great place to start. So if you are or have struggled with, or you want to be able to learn how to handle these situations in the future, something that we can look at first as like a really good laying the base, laying the platform, is what our policies and procedures are, what our expectations are for our staff, for our business. What are the things that you expect as a base, as a bare minimum from your staff? It might be time to relook at those. And if you don't have one, that's okay. You're not alone in that. There are many, many, many businesses that don't have a policies and procedures guideline for their staff. And that's okay. But it is something that lays a really good foundation of just the baseline things that you expect from your team. Now, the goal in all of this is to set the precedence as a business all around for everybody. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to start to really think about is contracts. With our new staff, a contract can sound scary and it doesn't have to be. This is something that allows you and that employee, that stylist, that professional to sit down and have a conversation where you can say directly to them, here is what I expect of you. Here's what you can expect from me. And here is what I want for our whole space. And that can be as in-depth, in detailed, or as simple as you want it to be. But it gives an opportunity for you to sit down with them and say very clearly, here is what I expect of you working in this space. Do you agree? Yes or no? And then everybody signs it. And those can look different depending on your business. If you only have 1 or 2 staff, it might look a little bit different than somebody who has 15 or 20 staff. Okay? It doesn't really matter what it looks like, but it needs to be a very clear outline of what your expectations are of them and what they can expect from you. And then everybody signs off on it. Everybody is in agreement. Everybody has a very clear idea, a very nicely painted picture of what this working environment is going to be like, what this team is going to be like. Yes, I hope that that makes sense to you. It's also really important to lay out what your personal non-negotiables are for you inside your business as a human being. So this is you setting boundaries that feel good for you as the owner of the business. Okay. This can be things like what you expect from your staff when you're not there. Okay. This can be what your boundaries are around staff and or clients contacting you outside of work hours. This can be what you will not allow inside of the workplace, whether it be a staff or a customer. Okay, these are boundaries that we set as an individual inside of our business, and we make them very well known to everybody. These things might seem, if you have never done any of this inside of your business yet, and it doesn't matter if you don't have any staff. Maybe you are a salon of one. Having these standards set, these non-negotiables, things you are not willing to negotiate on, the standards that you have for your business allows you to show up as the best version of you. It holds you accountable because, again, we're human. Things happen. We have our days. But when we have those standards set, everybody knows and is aware, and we have all committed to doing our very best to uphold those things. It makes it much easier when something rocks the boat a bit to be able to come back to, because we are very clear on what those boundaries are, what those standards are. Yes, I hope that this is starting to make sense. Here's what happens when we do this inside of our business. And I'm going to reference this salon. I'm not going to say who it is. Should they listen, they're going to know. And so I hope that if you are listening, you know that this is me speaking to you with so much admiration and love, and just hoping that this lands and is helpful. What happens, and I already know that this salon owner had a pretty good grasp on a lot of this stuff because of the way that her team reacted to this one person. Okay. When we set these standards inside of our business, and everybody else, all of the staff, everybody knows very clearly and has agreed to all of these things. When somebody disrupts, I don't want to say if, because it's probably a when, whether it's a customer or a staff member or a whoever, when these situations come up, when you have a really solid core foundation within your team where everybody is very clear, everybody knows the end goal, everybody has the same standard, everybody has in turn set their own non-negotiables, and it's very well laid out, these negative individuals, these negative entities, don't have as big of an impact because the whole team spots it for what it is. And it doesn't matter at that point what effort goes into by this negative entity to disrupt the workplace. Everybody else knows that it's BS. Everybody else knows that this is about that person and not actually about the business, not actually about a staff member, not actually about the salon owner. And I saw that inside of her business, and that made me so happy that her team came together to help support her in what she needed in that space, in this situation. And they all just rallied together. And so that told me that she's got a really good handle on this. And here's the thing, you guys, this is the last piece to this puzzle that I'm going to share with you. And this is really just going to be kind of the opening of this conversation into something much bigger that we are going to start really looking into. And I have some really exciting guests that are going to be coming onto the podcast to speak on this. But here's what is going to be so important for you as a business owner, as a business professional, to be able to mentally and physically and emotionally walk yourself through these situations. Okay. You can have all the things in place. And I say those things first because if that's not something that you have put in place, or maybe it's been a while since you revisited your policies and procedures, the contracts that you have with your stylists, the non-negotiables in your business, if it's been a while or you don't have those yet, that's where I want you to start. And I want you to write it out, even just point form to start, of what it is you expect from your staff, and then what you want to provide for them, what you want them to expect from you. Lay them all out and start it from there. Same with your non-negotiables. Write them all out. This is your business. This is your life. This is your legacy that you are creating. So make it what you want it to be. Yes? So the last piece to this, and I'm going to leave you with something very simple. I shouldn't say simple because this can be a little bit harder to actually physically do. But when we get more comfortable with doing it, it makes dealing with these situations easier. So let's say all your policies and procedures are in place. You have a really good solid foundation in your business. You have incredible staff who support you and understand you, and they know exactly what it is that you bring to the table and what you expect from them. And then this entity comes in. Yes, somebody comes in and disrupts the entire workplace. Everyone rallies together because they know damn well that this is not normal. This is not what's to be expected. And they know that this person is not staying. The emotional fallout from this can still hit just as hard. Okay. Yes, on paper, it makes it a lot easier when you have these structures in place because it helps to avoid these situations from happening. But when they do, and they might in your business, when these situations arise, these people come into our world, they wreak havoc on our life, and there is that emotional piece that gets a little bit broken inside of us because as stylists, as creatives, as business owners, this is not just the work we do, this is our life's work. And when somebody challenges it, when somebody questions us, when somebody has the ability to make us feel like we are incapable, unworthy, not doing a good job, that is hard to handle. And especially in a small town, like in a small town, small communities, these things tend to hit harder because those voices, those negative people, they yell the loudest. They yell the loudest. And it terrifies us as business owners what people are going to think. So here's what I want you to do. And this is something that you can practice in many, many different areas of your life. But we're talking specifically about our businesses today. So what I want you to start doing, and I'm hoping that in the next couple episodes, we're going to have a powerhouse woman come on to speak more to this in more detail and with more strategy for you. What we need to learn to do is to sit with those feelings, to sit with the emotions, to sit in our own presence, in our own bodies, and just see how it feels. And what I mean is that sometimes, and I do this, so I'm speaking from my own experiences, sometimes what I do is I just push it all down. Okay, I just go, no, thank you, not dealing with this. We're moving on. We're going to pretend this is not happening. We're going to pretend this didn't happen. And I'm just going to move on from it. And that temporarily can work. It can work. We are able to trick our minds and our bodies into feeling something different out, it's that fight or flight, right? It's like, nope, not doing this. We're going to push this all down, get out of my head, get out of my body. I'm not dealing with this. And for a short period of time, it can work, okay? But it doesn't last. It doesn't fix anything. That still lives in your body, that anxiety, that going to the grocery store and then you see that person, or you see a friend of that person, or somebody asks you about it. And all of a sudden, it all starts to come bubbling back up and you can feel it in your throat. It's like you can't breathe. If you've ever felt this, oh my gosh, you know what I'm talking about. So what happens when we just sit with it? Okay, we find a quiet space. We allow ourselves to feel the emotion, to feel the upset, to feel the uncomfortable, to cry, to yell, to scream into a pillow, whatever that is for you, whatever makes you feel like you're able to release some of that out of your body. That's where we're going to start. Okay, we're going to start with taking a few mindful minutes and going, okay, this happened. This is how I feel. This is what my worries are. This is where my anxiety lies. I don't know what to do about it, but I'm really friggin' mad, or I'm really sad, and I'm going to scream about it. I'm going to scream it out, and don't laugh at this until you try it, you guys. Screaming into a pillow is so incredibly empowering and like letting it all go. Okay. So when we do these things, it starts that process of getting it out of our bodies so that that anxiety and that stress does not have the ability to fester into something bigger. Because sometimes what happens is it starts as this like one little bean size ball of anxiety of, oh my gosh, what are people saying about me? What happens next? And we push it down and we don't deal with it. And then the next thing happens. And then that grows a little bit inside of us. And we push that down. And then the next thing happens. And it might be something in your personal life. And it might be something in your business. And it might be something that a client told you. But what ends up happening is all of these things build up in our bodies until the point where we can't do it anymore. And we have an absolute breakdown. And what I want for you is to not hit that point as a business owner, as an individual, as a stylist. We want to avoid getting to those places. And it can be really hard to do. So, this is one way that we start to acknowledge the feeling, the emotion, the sensation, and then we start to release it out of our body. Another way that we can do this is through our breath. Okay. And this doesn't always sit for everybody. So if this is not you, if a screaming in your pillow is where it's at, take that and run with it. Okay. Take this entire podcast is all for you to take what sits, what resonates, and leave the rest. And if it all sits and resonates, amazing. And if there's only a few little nuggets here and there, that's perfect too. The other thing that we can do is we can start to sit with our emotions, with our feelings, with our bodies and our thoughts and the things that are happening, and really just start to breathe through them. And when we sit and we focus on our breath, when we focus on the thoughts and connecting the two of them, it allows us to go just a little bit deeper into our body, really, really sitting with what it is that's going on. And there are a couple of different breathing techniques that you can do to start to unload that anxiety, to start to regulate the breath in the body, to start to calm your heart rate down. And this might be something that you utilize in the moment, right? In the moment of, at the time when these things are high. So I'm going to leave you today with a really quick little breath work that I would love for you to give a try at some point in your day, and let me know how it feels. Let me know how this works for you, and if you're able to bring yourself back down to a state of calmness. Okay. So it's called a box breath. And if you are somebody who's like, "Ooh, I love that. I want to learn more about that. I want to know how to do that. Take me through a session." I have an actual video that I could send to you that is a guided box um, breath work. So we could do that together, and I would be honored to send that to you. So if that's something that you would like from me, please just send me a message, leave a comment, and let me know that that's something that you'd be interested in. So a box breath is going to be and can be different for everybody, depending on your capacity, depending on if you normally practice breath work. But as a very basic, it is a 4-4-4-4. So you're going to go 4 counts in, you're going to hold it for 4, you're going to breathe out for 4, and then you're going to hold it for 4. And you're going to continue this cycle. Okay. So if 2 seconds is you, great. If 8 seconds, 10 seconds is you, amazing. The idea is to have 4 sets of breathing in, hold, breathing out, hold, all for the same amount of time to start to help regulate our nervous system. Okay? Give that a try. See how it feels. This is something that I practice a lot at the end of my days, especially if I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's lots going on. I'm thinking about what's coming in the next day, all the things I have to accomplish, the list of to-dos. That can get super overwhelming. So, one way that I bring myself back down to center, able to sleep, shut my brain off, recenter, refocus, is doing this box breath. And I typically like to do 5 or 6 seconds where I just sit in a calm, quiet corner. I don't care if this is hiding in your closet. I don't care if you've gone to the bathroom at work, if you're sitting in your chair because you don't have a guest coming in for 10 minutes, wherever that is, sit, take a few deep breaths just to calm your heart rate down. Close your eyes, sit in your own body, in your presence, and just start that cycle of the breaths. The 4 counts in, holding at the top, 4 counts letting that air out, 4 counts holding on the bottom. And you repeat this cycle as many times as feels good to you. You guys, I feel like that was a lot of information that I dumped on you today, but this conversation is so important and it's so relevant. And I very much appreciate the feedback of, hey, I love your podcast. Could you talk about this? Could you dive into this conversation? Here's something I'm struggling with. Could you please address it for me? How would I do this? How would I tackle this? How would I handle this? What would you do? What have you done? That feedback, you guys, means everything to me because my entire purpose in this space as the Savvy Stylist podcast is to bring to you the information that is relevant, the things that you need in your world to help grow your business as a beauty industry professional. So, with that, you guys, thank you so much for spending time with me. Please, if you feel inclined, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know your takeaways. I am always open to feedback and suggestions for future podcasts. Like I said, I am working on bringing some guests to this space for you to be able to really tap into the areas of expertise of other industry professionals. So if there's somebody you want me to have on here or something you want us to talk about, let me know in the comments. Send me a DM. You can find me over on Instagram at the Soul Centric Stylist. I'd love to connect with you in that space as well. As always, you guys, I love you so much just because I freaking can. And I'm so grateful for you being here in this space with me today. Until next time, my loves, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode.